Alright guys, so let's finish this video or this worksheet up with this last video. It says Tony can read 6 pages in his biology book in 15 minutes. How long will it take him to read 14 pages? This is a proportion problem, and so we want to set up our proportion, and we can do something like pages on top and time on the bottom. Okay, and we can set up that proportion and solve this question. So Tony can read 6 pages in 15 minutes. How long will it take him to read 14 pages? So again, we have pages on top. We know pages is 14. We don't know the time. And so now we have a proportion that we can solve. 6 over 15 should be the same as 14 over something. So for a proportion, we cross multiply. We do that, we get 6x equals 140. Looks like 210. 15 times 14, 210. Divide by 6, divide by 6. So that should give us 35. Let me make sure I don't trust myself with that. 35. Okay, and so how long will it take him to read 14 pages? 35 minutes. Okay, continue proportions on the back side here. Let's get this calculator out of the way. Alright, it says Karen uses a recipe that calls for 9 ounces of chocolate chips in order to make 24 cookies. How many cookies can she make if she has 15 ounces of chocolate chips? So we got chips here, cookies here. It really doesn't matter which order you put them in as long as you are consistent in both fractions. So it calls 9 ounces of chocolate chips in order to make 24 cookies. 9 over 24. And in our proportional, how many cookies can she make if she had 15 ounces of chocolate chips? So 15 over x. Again, we'll cross multiply here. 9x equals 360. Right, 241, yep, 360. Divide by 9, and x will equal 40. So how many cookies could she make? She could make 40 cookies. Oh, number 12. Cam wants to get at least A- in algebra this year. If he already has an 86, 95, 84, 97 on his first 4 tests, what does he need on his 5th test to average a 90%? So, an average means we're adding all the numbers up and dividing them by how many tests we've had. There's 5 tests that he has to worry about, but he has already taken 4. Here are the 4. 84, 97. Okay, now, we don't know the 5th score, so I'm just going to put x for this 5th score. Remember, when we find the average, it means we're adding all the things up and then dividing them by how many terms there are. In this case, there are 5. And we want that to equal at least a 90. So we're just going to say equals 90 here. We're not going to make it an inequality. Okay, and so what we can do here then is we can take these numbers, 86 plus 95 plus 84 plus 97, 362. 362 plus x over 5 equals 90. Sorry, 362 plus x over 5 equals 90. Multiply both sides by 5, so 362 plus x equals, what will that be, 450. Subtract 362 from both sides. So 450 minus 362, 88. So, in order for Cameron to get the A minus that he wants, that 90% A minus, he needs to get an 88 on his last test. Alright, last few problems here, solving literal equations, just solving her x. Trying to get x by itself, our first step here would be to add w to both sides. And so we'd have hx equals k plus w. Trying to get x by itself, divide by h. So x equals k plus w over h. For number 14, solving for c. Okay, what's stopping c from being by itself? A, b, and 2/3. Okay, so the hardest part for this problem for most people is that fraction. I'm just going to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, and what that does on the left side is it gets rid of that. C equals 3d. Alright, now, what's stopping c from being by itself? 2a and b. They're all multiplying, and so in order to get rid of them, I divide. And it cancels out, cancels out, cancels out. And now we're left with c equals 3d over 2ab. Number 15 asks to solve for a. I want to get rid of this fraction. Multiply by b. So I get 2a plus 5 equals 12b. I will subtract 5 from both sides now. So 2a equals 12b minus 5. And then I'll divide by 2 to get a all the way by itself. And so a equals 12b minus 5 over 2. Here's my answer. Okay. Proportions on the other side. Remember that when you do proportions, it's important that you will put parentheses around any expressions that you have, just to make sure that when you do cross multiply, you distribute correctly. So for 16, we have 2 times 3x minus 2 equals 5 times x plus 1. And so you get 6x minus 4 equals 5x plus 5. Subtract 5x from both sides. X minus 4 equals 5. Add 4 to both sides. And x equals 9. For number 17, cross multiply. 2 times 3x minus 1 equals 1 times x plus 2. Distribute, we get 6x minus 2 equals x plus 2. Add 2 to both sides, add 2 to both sides. Okay, so we get 6x equals x plus 4. Subtract x. 5x equals 4. Divide by 5. And x equals 4/5. Okay, remember it's okay to have a fraction. Make sure that it makes sense. And fractions sometimes are better than decimals. I'd rather keep it as 4/5, but you could write 0.8 as well, I guess. Okay. Number 18. Back here, absolute value problems, 18, 19, 20. Remember, absolute value problems are, we want to get our absolute value by itself and then split the equation. Okay, so we'll solve for the absolute value first. Add 1 to both sides. 2 times the absolute value of x plus 4 equals 18. Divide by 2. Absolute value of x plus 4 equals 9. It's a positive number, so now I'll split the equation and solve both. X plus 4 could equal negative 9. X plus 4 could equal positive 9. Subtract 4 from both sides. X equals negative 13. Subtract 4 from both sides. X equals 5. Here are my two answers, or my two solutions. Number 19, again, trying to get the absolute value by itself. Remember, we never distribute into the absolute value, so we'll divide both sides by 3. Absolute value of 2x plus 7 equals 11. From there, we'll split the problem. 2x plus 7 could be negative 11. 2x plus 7 could equal positive 11. Solve for both of these. So 2x equals negative 18. Divide by 2. X equals negative 9. Other side, subtract 7. 2x equals 4. Divide by 2. X equals 2. So my two solutions here, negative 9 and 2. And then for number 20, we subtract 13 from both sides because we need to get the absolute value by itself before we split it. Get the absolute value of x plus 9 equals negative 5. Now, we're here, we have the absolute value equals a negative number. That's impossible. Absolute value will not equal a negative number, so we have no solution. Or no solutions, either way. Okay. Okay. All right. there's your review. Hope that these videos help, and good luck on your test. Checkpoint A.